Welcome to the Disney Wedding Podcast. This show is brought to you by Carrie Hayward's Fairy Tale Weddings Guide, the only guidebook and bridal organizer tailored exclusively to Disney's fairy tale weddings at Walt Disney World. I'm Carrie Hayward, and each week I feature Disney wedding updates, money-saving tips, and interviews with wedding vendors and real Disney couples. I also cover honeymoons, anniversaries, and engagements at the Disney parks and resorts. Join me now as the Disney Wedding Podcast celebrates romance at Disney destinations. Today on the Disney Wedding Podcast, I am speaking with Disney bride and groom Celina and Aaron Wolf about their ceremony at the Caravan stage in Animal Kingdom and their reception at the Harambe Theater District, also in Animal Kingdom. I thought you guys would be interested to hear how they chose their locations and how they planned everything and how it all turned out. So welcome, Celina and Aaron.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for being on the show today. I always like to start at the very beginning and find out how you guys decided that you wanted to have your wedding at Disney.
Disney is just really nostalgic, honestly, for the both of us. Growing up watching Disney Channel, Disney movies with our parents and families. And then another big thing is we're buyer and sellers of vintage items and antiques. And the biggest thing we collect is actually vintage and antique Disney. And it kind of just felt fitting. So it just really means a lot to us and holds a special place in our heart.
That's wonderful. How did your friends and family react when they found out where the wedding was going to be?
They were very excited for us. I think they knew when we first told them initially that it was a good fit for us, because I think we first pondered the idea, and at first the question was, is it feasible? Can we do it? Is this even realistic to take everybody there? Because we live in Wisconsin. And once we kind of figured out that this could be a reality, everyone was on board pretty quickly, and they were pretty excited for us because I think they understood that it fit us very well. So I think they all took it pretty well and were excited to be a part of it with us.
Fantastic. How many guests did you invite and how many were able to make the trip?
So we invited about 120 to 125, and we were pretty lucky that we actually had 85 show up from all over the US, even Italy. So everyone really came out to make it a special day for us, and we're just so thankful.
Did you set up a room block for your guests?
We did, and we're really glad we did actually, because we were able to earn a few free nights from this. We decided to go with the Polynesian, which is where we actually started our stay with a few nights. The Animal Kingdom Lodge, because how do you not getting married in Animal Kingdom? And we just love animals. All-Star Movie for a bit more on the budget end, just so everyone could feel comfortable if they wanted to stay on property that they could. And lastly, Coronado Springs, where we ended our stay in a suite, which was just really nice. It was a bit more adult-centric, but still had a cool Disney theme and just overall super beautiful and a good price point for what you were getting.
That's great. How did you choose the day of the week and time of day for your event?
So for our wedding itself, the day of, we chose a Thursday, and we lucked out because where we ended up being able to do the ceremony, we were able to be in the park in Animal Kingdom, but actually at 6:30 at night. So we ended up lucking out a lot. And what's interesting is our anniversary of dating fell the day after that. So we figured we'd get in right before the weekend because we were going to give people multiple events. And then also this falls right in the middle of the Festival of the Arts at EPCOT, which Celina and I are big art lovers. Like she said, we collect antiques and a lot of art, artistic stuff. So I think it just was really fitting for us to do it when we did it right at the end of January.
Awesome. Okay. Now, how did you choose your ceremony and reception venues?
So for the actual wedding, I've done theater my whole life. Aaron mentioned we love the arts. So it only felt fitting to do the Feathered Friends in Flight stage, the Anandapur Theater. It's super beautiful and just kind of fit in with my envisionings. And Aaron went along and was happy with it too. So thank you.
Loved it.
And the reception, to kind of just tie in with that, we finished it off at the Harambe Theater District, by kind of Tusker House, as well as where they do the Lion King. So just super cool to be on the actual streets of Disney and just party it up.
Now, before we started, you mentioned that you actually were going to have your reception someplace else and then it got moved?
Yeah, so we actually were originally going to do the Harambe market, and we found out a couple months before our wedding that it was no longer going to be able to have our vision. When we picked the decor, we wanted round tables with assigned seating, and that wasn't going to be able to fit there. So ultimately, we didn't want to have to change all of these things because decor was really important to us and exactly what we wanted. So we found out about this Harambe Theater District street location, which we didn't even know was a thing. And if we did, we would have chose it from the beginning. It just tied in so well. So it actually ended up turning out really well for us.
That's great. What kind of a floral and decor vision did you have?
We went with really bright, fun, colorful things that just really spoke to us. So, like, we had orange tablecloths, pink napkins. Each table, you had a different theme of a ride. So, like, we did Dumbo, Pirates of the Caribbean. We had vintage-esque books for our cake that kind of tied in with really fun Pantone, bright colors, a floral cart. So, just really magical, fun, creative, artsy, and kind of whimsical.
Did you use any outside vendors for the portions of your event that you were able to?
Yes, we had quite a few. So, Loftus Productions, which was who steamed my dress the morning of, which I really needed because we traveled down by car. So, my dress was in a bit rough shape, but they help it get really well and steamed out. We also had Allie Haley Photography, which was our friend for the welcome dinner as well as the farewell breakfast. Lejeune Artistry did my hair and makeup for our early morning photo session, as well as just my makeup on the wedding day. Honeycomb Films, which are absolutely wonderful people to work with, did our videography for all three events. And the hair chair did my hair for the wedding day, as well as Rustic Moon, who did little Mickey soaps for us in our welcome basket. And lastly, True Nat Graphics, who helped us with our invites and things like that.
Okay, that's great. How did you guys choose your officiant?
So the officiant actually ended up being my father. And it's something that I always knew this whole time, being close to him, that I wanted to incorporate him in some way. And once we embarked on this journey of doing a Disney fairy tale wedding, we figured out at the point where we got to start picking our officiant, and we learned about how much of a choice we have in doing that we would include him in that way. And he's a person that took on the role and loved every minute of it. So I'm really glad that we got to incorporate him, as a family member and kind of make that extra special. And it made for great photo and video moments that we get to now have as a memory forever.
That's a great tip. Did you guys add any kind of entertainment to the ceremony or the reception?
We did. This was another big one for us. We just wanted everyone to really have fun and a memorable experience. So we had a DJ, which just really got the party started for everyone. My dad actually surprised us with the Cora Tinga Tinga player, which was super cool.
Yeah.
He just was strolling down the street playing music, and everyone was just in awe. We even had a little private moment with him as we ate our appetizers for the evening in the back. We had a photo booth, which is just another nostalgic thing for us growing up, in the late 90s, early 2000s. We love that iconic strip of photos, and we wanted to give that to our guests. And then the other thing that we wanted was a really cool guest book. So we use After the Tone so that our friends and family could leave us voicemails that we'll get back later on a vinyl and USB that we can listen to and cherish forever.
That sounds great. Do you guys have any menu items or cake flavors from the reception that you would recommend?
One of our favorite things that we had at the wedding reception was our Ohana Noodle Action Station, which was actually a surprise for us to find out got upgraded to that once we got to our reception. And we thought that was a really cool detail of Disney to add. Another one of our favorites for the evening was the Mickey pretzels that we got as a late night snack for our guests. We really loved that touch, and it was really neat for everyone to have that nostalgic Mickey ear look, and it made for some really cool photos. And then for cake, our biggest tip would be don't be afraid to go unique. You're at Disney, you're having a fairy tale wedding. It's supposed to be your fairy tale magical, evening or whatever time of day you do. And so we went with a lemonade cake. and a vegan strawberry mousse. And it was incredibly good. The vegan touch really added an extra thing for our guests to be able to have, because we did have some people with dietary restrictions, and Celina is also fully vegetarian. So it really gave us a good option for that, and everyone loved the unique flavor. So our tip would be go unique and don't be afraid to go big when you're at Disney, and do something whimsical and just true to you.
That's a great tip. For the Ohana noodles, so you originally were just going to have like a bowl of Ohana noodles, and then when they upgraded it to an action station, what was different about it? Like what kind of stuff could you mix into it?
So we originally were just going to have it be a part of our normal buffet line. And when we got there, the chef came out and spoke to us and actually said that it didn't really fit very well in the lineup of the, long tables. So what they did is they fully separated it on its own. And there was someone there cooking the noodles themselves, and they had a bunch of extra toppings you could add, like sauces and like, extra vegetables and toppings and stuff like that, like garnishes and everything. And so it was a really unique element to have, and everyone loved the social element where they could kind of talk to someone and have that positive, conversation with a Disney cast member. And it really added an extra special touch to our evening.
That's fantastic. Can you tell my listeners a little bit about the welcome party you had at Italy Isola in EPCOT?
Yes, so this was a no-brainer for us that I have a big Italian family. We wanted to include a little bit of Italy in there. It was super magical. We had fireworks at the end. We decided to go with more of a pasta station. So we had like a creamy one, more of a marinara one, as well as some pesto ciabatta sliders with some mozzarella on it. So just kind of fresh, super yummy, and everyone really enjoyed it. And then we also had our farewell breakfast a couple days after the wedding to round it all out. And this was at the Sci-Fi Diner in Hollywood Studios. And everyone was just so taken aback by this location. It was super cool, super nostalgic. A lot of people haven't been there before, so they were super happy that we showed it to them. And we finished that breakfast out with a ride on Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railway. So it was just a really great way to get everyone on a ride and end our little wedding weekend.
That's cool. And then with the meal, was it just whatever was on their breakfast menu, or did you get to pick a catered menu for your farewell breakfast?
We actually did pick our own menu. So for the breakfast, we did like Mickey waffles, a frittata, Lyonnaise potatoes. We had an avocado toast station, which was a must for Aaron.
I had to have it after tasting it at the tasting. It was so cool how they did it that I was like, we need to implement this somewhere. So I got it at the farewell breakfast, and it was phenomenal.
Okay, now I have to ask what was on that action station.
So they had like pieces of pre-cooked bread, and then you could add the avocado spread, and there was all kinds of vegetables and bacon bits and like everything you could think of, like pickled onions and all these perfect little toppings that you could add, and everyone loved it. That may be one of the food items that people raved about the most out of the whole weekend, because they just loved like the customization element to that, of being able to just do whatever they wanted. Like their imagination ran wild with that one.
That's such a great idea. So can you give my listeners a timeline of how the wedding day all fit together?
Yeah, of course. So we started off at around 9 with my steaming appointment. Then around 10 o'clock, makeup started coming for me as well as my bridesmaid and like mother of the groom and all of that. Then around 4 is when photo and video showed up. So we started at Coronado Springs, taking some outside photos with family to kind of get that out of the way. So we had more time at the reception. We started getting bussed over in our private coaches, and at 6:30 the ceremony began. It was a bit on the shorter side, so then we moved into a quicker cocktail hour that wasn't the true hour, but we had a little bit of a break from everyone and got to try our appetizers that we chose. We moved into dinner around 7:30 and then kind of just danced the night away. We had the cake cutting a bit later, as well as the Mickey pretzels coming out to end the night. And it ended around midnight, and then everyone got chartered back to the hotels. So it was super fun day, and I wish I could relive it again and again.
So for each of you, what was your favorite memory of your wedding day?
Hands down, I might be speaking for Celina as well on this one. And
I
obviously
think you are.
yeah, you'll have your input too. But one of the most unexpected moments that became our fondest memory was when we were going to our ceremony and reception. We pulled up to the front of Animal Kingdom, and how the timing worked out is they were like kind of pushing people out towards the exit right as we were pulling up and getting off of our charter buses. So we had this incredibly unique and incredibly heartwarming experience of us walking in through the entrance and through the Animal Kingdom area as everyone was coming out. And there was this one moment where I would say at least 50 to 100 guests were all clapping and cheering. And it was this really like iconic moment because Celina had a really big dress and a really big train, and it took almost all of her bridesmaids together, using teamwork to pick it up and to help her walk it through the park. And some of them even caught video of these people clapping and cheering. And now every time we see that, it's become this incredible memory that couldn't have been any more magical. I mean, when you think of Disney and you think of like a fairy tale, this is exactly the kind of unexpected moment that you just could never prepare yourself for.
I agree. This was honestly, I think, my favorite thing too. So you hit it like on the spot. It was just, we honestly felt like royalty. A little girl in an Elsa dress came up to me and she was like, "Mommy, it's a princess." And like, how can you not just start like crying? I was like holding in tears the whole day. It was just so cute. But obviously there was a lot of great moments as well. It's hard to pick just one, but I think getting a photo in front of the Lion King stage was just an iconic moment for me. It's super pretty. It hits home with my childhood love of theater, even into adulthood. And it's now my new profile picture on Facebook. So it was a great memory.
So when you guys were planning, what were some of the most important aspects of the event where you focused your attention or your budget?
The first one would definitely be food. We wanted everyone to really enjoy it. We had people who were vegan, gluten-free, couldn't eat shellfish. Me, I'm vegetarian. So we really wanted a lot of options for people and not just your typical buffet. We wanted to make sure you had a lot to grab, as well as, again, being that Italian family. We center a lot of things around food. The second one would be decor. Being a wardrobe stylist myself, anything with little details to how it looks is really important to me. So, like I said, we went fun and colorful and kind of quirky and bold. And then lastly would be our experiences and entertainment. We just really wanted unforgettable moments that people weren't going to forget. So like that Cora Tinga Tinga player, our photo booth, just things like that where people could get away, have a fun little experience, and then get back to the party.
Got it. Okay. So then were there any aspects that were less important where you maybe saved your money or just your effort?
So there was a few things that we decided to kind of take on as our own like DIY wedding challenges for ourselves. And so we like prepared our own like bubbles that we were going to use for our wedding, and all of our like welcome bags and gifts. We kind of pieced that all together ourselves. We figured we would kind of do more unique items that we came up with, like our own postcard. And Celina's obsessed with chapstick, so we custom made a little chapstick with our date on it and gave it to everybody in a flavor that complemented our cake flavor. It was like a strawberry lemonade. So doing those little DIY things, but also getting to put our own touch on it in a more customizable way, I think helped. And then originally, we were thinking about maybe doing more ride mix-ins, like maybe one at each event or at least two of them. But we kind of chose to dial that back a little bit and instead do the ride mix-in that we really wanted the most, that was the most meaningful to us. But then also it allowed us to allocate it to other, fun things that we did at the other events, which I think helped, like that avocado toast station or like a photo booth at the reception. It really helped spread the fun throughout the whole weekend, which I think our guests really enjoyed.
Got it. Okay. Did anything go wrong or just not turn out like you expected?
We honestly lucked out pretty well. The only thing I can really think of is There was like a group of 10 guests or so that missed the bus, so they didn't make it to the ceremony, but luckily Disney quickly picked them up afterwards. I'm not even sure how they found out, but thankfully they did, and they got them all there in time for the reception. So I'm just lucky everyone eventually was able to make it.
Got it. Was there anything that seemed like a big deal beforehand or you were worried about and then it turned out not to be a big deal?
My answer for that would be almost like all the little details that you are so quick to overthink in your head leading up to your big day. All of those kind of dissipated and weren't nearly as important as we thought. And like one of the biggest ones is like we thought we were going to be so nervous a couple days leading up to the wedding, and then the actual day of, we weren't set to get married until about 6:30 at night. So having all that day to like be separated and not know what to do and to be nervous. And we actually, at least according to all of our friends and family, we both handled it really well. We weren't even that stressed. We didn't show it at all. And we were actually both very comfortable. And so I think that those ended up being things that we weren't as nervous about the day of. And then things like music, which Celina and I are both huge music lovers. We thought that music was going to be so important to us, like having specific songs play at a set time. But our DJ did such a good job at just getting the crowd going and really doing crowd work that we never had an issue with that. And it really ended up being one of those things that we looked back on and went, we didn't even notice it in the moment. We were having so much fun. So I think all those little things ended up being positives instead of negatives.
That's great. Who was your DJ?
It was DJ Ewan.
Got it. Okay. Is there anything you would have done differently knowing what you know now?
Honestly, there's not a ton, but the one thing we do kind of regret not doing is when we were on property and all our friends and family came in, we wish we threw like a Disney Springs bachelorette or bachelorette combined party or something at like Trader Sam's Grotto, just something kind of fun where we could all be together. But honestly, as for all the wedding events, we wouldn't change a thing, and
No.
it really turned out amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible. Other than maybe having a little bit more of like an informal, casual get together where nobody felt like there was any expectations or we're doing a wedding event right now. So one of those things we could have incorporated, but other than that, it was the most incredible time, and spreading it across a couple days like we did really added to the feeling of having this whole weekend experience, and I think we really love that.
That's great. Do you have any other tips or advice for future Disney couples?
I guess the most cliche one that we now discovered is totally true is soak it all in while you can. It does go by super fast.
Yeah, the one tip that I would give is honestly, we almost didn't do videography, and I am so glad we did because it, like he said, it goes fast. We're going to have a way to capture these moments now and look back on it. So I would say make sure you have someone to do those photos, those videos, because even if you are a little self-conscious about photos or think you're not going to look good in them, they're really going to guide you to a product that you're going to love and you're going to want to look back on.
Yes. 100%. I would totally agree with that. Having some sort of professional capturing of your day, whether you're a video person, a photo person, or both, or any sort of unique way you could capture it, like how we did a photo booth incorporated into our reception, we would not trade that for the world. That was worth every penny. It was worth all the figuring out and all the, moving little things around and making sure that we could have those elements. Because now that we have it captured, like I don't think we pulled our phones out at all during the weekend. We had no time to capture anything ourselves. So the fact that we have all these professional, high-end quality images and videos that we're going to be getting is, to us, the most incredible thing that we could ask for.
That's fantastic. Well, Aaron and Celina, I think you've offered a lot of great tips and advice for anyone who's interested in getting married or having a vow renewal at Walt Disney World, and I appreciate your taking the time.
Thank you so much. It was so great talking to you, and we're super excited we were able to get on here.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time.
And thank you for your super helpful guide. It really
saved us many times.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Like 10 out of 10. If I could give you 5 stars, I'd give you 5 stars, 10 stars, a million stars. Like it has saved us from so many headaches and saved us from so many issues, being able to consult your guide before having to go and wait like a week or two to hear back from someone. Like, it's really helped us feel like we could be self-sufficient while planning a wedding, which was amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. That's our show for today. I'm your host, Carrie Hayward, inviting you to join me again next week for another episode of the Disney Wedding Podcast. Past shows and tons of photos for each episode are available on my website, DisneyWeddingPodcast.com, or listen in your favorite podcast app. And for instant answers to all your Walt Disney World wedding questions, check out Carrie Hayward's Fairy Tale Weddings Guide, available as an interactive ebook with continual free updates at fairytaleweddingsguide.com.